Yo, what's going on, YouTube? What's going on, man? Appreciate you guys for joining my channel. This is Out Here Trucking, man. Another day in the books. I'm finished up for the day. I'm actually off tomorrow, you know, because I'm going on a little field trip with my daughter. So I'm enjoying this day and enjoying this time, but taking my time getting back. Shout out to everybody who's liked my videos, shared my videos. Big shout out to all my subscribers, man. I really appreciate you guys for helping me grow my channel. I just want to do a real quick video today on certain questions that you should ask your recruiter. A lot of you guys out there that are either thinking about trucking or you're currently in truck driving school, you're probably getting closer and closer to the day you're about to test out and go to the NVA or the DMV and actually take your test, and so you can actually have your CDLs. And so you're probably been in contact with some recruiters right now, you know, trying to figure out which company you want to go to. Okay, number one, first and foremost, it depends on what region of the country that you live in, but you want to ask them exactly the areas that you cover. All right, because sometimes, man, they'll leave that information out, and the reason why that's important is because, so let's say you go with a company and they're running mountains a lot. And they may not say that in the recruiting process. They may just try to entice you with like something like a $5,000 sign-on bonus, and oh, we can have you home every weekend, or we can have you home every 2 weeks. And no. You know, knowing what region that you're going to be running in is very important, because, like I said, trucking is a dangerous job. So, and if you're in an area where you're definitely going to be running and climbing mountains, man, then you definitely might want to know that, you know. And then even still, if you are in an area like that, you want to ask them how thorough, you know, is because again, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have already have heard this before, but truck driving school, man, it really just teaches you how to get your license, and that's it. All of your experience, all of the knowledge, everything that you're going to learn that's going to make you a seasoned veteran truck driver, you're going to learn that in the field and on the road. And so, yeah, if you, let's say hypothetically, you running with a company that runs the mountains a lot, you want to ask them how thorough is their training before they get ready to cut you guys loose, because you're going to know how to do a thorough inspection of your brakes, your braking system, and I mean your whole truck and trailer in general, but particularly you're going to know how to do a thorough inspection of your braking system. And if they don't really do that, they say, oh yeah, well, we just, you know, we cover that a little bit. And no, like, be thorough with that, you know. Another region, for instance, let's say you live on the East Coast. If you live on the East Coast and you're doing over the road, you better ask them, do you guys go to New York? Do you guys go to New York City? If you do, how often do you go to New York City? Because if you're on the East Coast and you have absolutely no desire, and believe it or not, there are a lot of truckers that absolutely refuse to go to New York City, because New York City, man, you can definitely get jammed up. I done drove in Brooklyn. I done drove in Queens, New York. I done drove in the Bronx, New York. I actually trained in, because like I said, I kind of got screwed. Me being an over-the-road driver when I first started, I kind of got screwed, and they stuck me with I done mentioned this before in another video, but they stuck me with a trainer who was a local guy. He went to Brooklyn, New York every night. So, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, sound like I'm super duper trucker or nothing like that, but me being in the New York City driving every day, like, that helped sharpen my skills up, you know, really fast, man. But you want to know that, you want to ask that, because if you have no desire to do that, that's something that they should tell you off the rip. You know what I mean? Same thing if you let's say you're not going to be on the East Coast. Let's say you might run west, but you plan on, you know, being a straight up running all 48 states. You know, of course, excluding Alaska and Hawaii. But let's say you're going to be OTR running all 48 states. You want to ask them, hey, God, do you go to New York City? 'Cause, yo, New York City, Pittsburgh, Boston. I'm trying to think, is there any other? I don't like, yeah, Philly. I don't like driving in Philly either. But Philly is not as bad as New York. But Pittsburgh, New York City, Boston, Jersey, New Jersey City on the East Coast. Yeah, those are some areas that you definitely want to you want to be aware of if you're going over there, because man, you talk about aggressive drivers. You got to watch for aggressive drivers. You got to watch for low bridges. You got to watch for just bridges in general when you're trying to make a turn on the street. You know, it's just the way that those old cities are designed. Like I said, they're not designed for tractor trailers, man. And yeah, that's something that you definitely want to know going into it before you get jammed up. So yeah, man, ask what regions you guys cover. You know, that's very, very important. Another thing that's very important that you want to ask your recruiter is, how often do your drivers come home? You know, now if you're doing a regional, then typically, like I said, you know, most regional drivers are home every weekend. But let's say, you know, there's no region, you're just taking a straight up over the road position. You want to know, how many? Because some companies say, well, for every 7 days you stay out, you get a day off or whatever. So that's something that you want to ask and you want to know, and you actually want to be comfortable with, because you don't want to end up in a situation where, you know, you stuck out there for like 4 weeks before you can even think about trying to request. And then you don't just come home, you got to request to come home. You know, a lot of recruiters won't tell you that. A lot of times you'll be over the road, and let's say you live in Houston, Texas, right? And you just happen to be somewhere, like let's say you in Connecticut. They'll give you a route from like Connecticut all the way down to Virginia. All right, you do that load. Then you go down from Virginia. They send you all the way over to Tennessee, or they send you to like North Carolina or South Carolina. And you're like, oh, okay, bet. They sending me south. I'm going closer and closer to home. Then they send you like all the way to like from Tennessee over to Alabama or something like that. You're like, okay, cool. Next thing you know, you turn around and send you right up to Pittsburgh or send you over to Ohio or something like that. So that's at least a lot of these trucking companies, man. Like, yo, if you don't say nothing, I'm pretty sure you guys heard of the expression, closed mouths don't get fed. But yo, that really is true, especially in the trucking industry, man. If you don't clearly communicate when you want to get home, or clearly communicate to your recruiter even before you get with the company, how often do you guys have to stay out before we come home? You know, that's, you gotta know that, because other than that, you're just gonna be behind the wheel, running, and you know, you might get a little frustrated and might end up looking for another job or whatever. You know, so of course you want to know your pay structure. And when you get ready to ask your recruiter that, definitely take a pen and a piece of paper and take down notes, okay? Because it's so many different ways that a driver can get paid. And it also, I'm not going to really expound on that too much, because like if you're doing dry van, let's say you're getting paid cents per mile. Okay, cool, that's pretty easy. But you can also be doing dry van and you actually got to touch down and break down the pallets, or you may have to you know, just get a hand truck. I mean, not a hand truck, but the electric jack, and you may have to unload the vehicle. I mean, the tractor yourself. You want to know that, and they got so many different ways that a driver can get paid. They'll pay them cents per mile. They'll pay them how many per stops that they do. They'll pay them for unloading. You know, let's say if you're a flatbed driver, you might be getting paid cents per mile, or you might be getting paid a percentage of the load. Especially if you're a flatbed driver, you definitely want to know if you're getting paid to tarp. Because a lot of these companies, man, some of them will offer you maybe $25 for tarping every time you do a load, $50 for tarping. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the company Melton, who's over the road, they're a company, I think somewhere out west, if I'm not mistaken, but I think they got like the highest offer for tarp pay. If I'm not mistaken, I think Melton offered their drivers like $100 every time they tarp or load. Hey guys, another question you might want to ask your recruiter, because like again, and as I mentioned before, a lot of these companies will try to entice you with, you know, a $3,000 sign-on bonus, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, sometimes even a $10,000 sign-on bonus. Look, when you hear that, that does not mean as soon as you go to orientation and once you complete your first load, you're going to get a check in the mail for $10,000 or $5,000. Typically what they do is they break that down over the course of, I mean, it can go all the way up to a year, depending on how big the sign-on bonus. That pretty much determines the length of the time that they're going to pay out. But you want to ask that question and know that off the rip, man, because for instance, they give you, you know, let's say they give you a $2,000 sign-on bonus. They may give you, let's say they may give you $500 after you deliver your first load. Then you may have to wait another 90 days before you get another $500, and then go on, you know, so on and so forth. So that's another question that you definitely want to ask them is, do you guys offer sign-on bonuses? And can you break down the payout of the sign-on bonus? You know, that's a really, really great question. And if they can't answer that, you know, that's a red flag. Hey guys, another question that you want to ask your recruiter, you want to ask them about their benefits package. All right, you want to ask them exactly what kind of benefits do you got, or what kind of benefits do you offer? How much are the benefits coming out of my check, every check? Because most companies will pay you every week, so you want to know how much money is going to be coming out of your check. You want to ask them, do they offer tuition reimbursement? You know, because some schools, a lot of companies do that. Let's say if you pay, you know, $5,000, $10,000 for trade school, and that's how you got your CDLs. A lot of companies do offer you tuition reimbursement. You know, so that's very, very important to know that as well. Yeah. Another important question, guys, to ask is ask them about the average cents. I mean, no, not the cents. The average miles per week that their drivers run. If you're going to be running over the road, and let's say, oh yeah, man, our drivers average anywhere between 15 to 1800 miles per week. Yo, honestly, man, depending on what they offer you as far as cents per mile, yo, your check's gonna be baby checks. I mean, now even though I did do a video on not necessarily expecting, you know, a crazy amount of pay when you first come in, especially if it's your first year, because you really want to just understand, you know, road etiquette and understand what you're doing out there, because it's gonna take a while for you. Like after you get released from your trainer, it's gonna take a while for you guys to get comfortable by yourself. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's good to know what you want, what you want going to be getting paid. That way you can kind of estimate exactly what your paycheck's gonna be looking like. Okay. If you're gonna be doing over the road, man, depending on what you're getting paid, yo, you want to be trying to hit, you know, 2,200, 2,500. I mean, if you can hit 3,000 miles, you know, that's really, really good. You know what I mean? But if they hit you with that number, you know, oh yeah, you know, 1,500, 1,800, something like that. Like I said, all you got to do is times the number of miles that you drove, times it by a point, you know, whatever cents you are going to be getting paid, and then that'll give you your gross, what you're going to be expecting for the week. And then of course, you know, you got to deduct your taxes and so on and so forth. So just ask them that, man. Just that way you can get a great idea of what you're going to be getting paid. Also, guys, I mean, not every company does this, but a lot of them do. It would also be interesting to know if they offer any type of referral bonus. You know, because let's say if you and your buddy are in truck driving school, but let's say you started a couple of weeks ahead of him, or you might be a month or two before him, and you know, you got with a company, you like that company. Let's say they offer you guys $500 or $1,000 to refer somebody to come work for them as well. Hey, that'll be great to know. You know, that's just something that you can ask. Like I said, not all companies do that, but hey, you know, never turn down free money. You know what I mean? That'll be that's a great extra money that's going to be in your pocket. You know, even though they do tax it, but hey, regardless, you know, it's better than what you had, man. Yeah, man. And then probably the last thing I would mention is I would ask your recruiter, what is a typical day, and you know, ask them to thoroughly explain, you know, typical day of what a driver does. Now, pay attention to the words that they use when they talk, because they're a recruiter. Their job is just to get you on to sign on with the company. That's it. They may know a little bit of the ins and outs. The person that you really need to talk to is either the terminal manager or the fleet manager or the dispatcher, because they're going to know that. But still, you just want to ask this question just to see how much information they know and how much information they can give you. That way you can, and even if you want to take a step further, you can ask them, hey, can you give me the name and number of one of your managers, one of your terminal managers, or one of your fleet managers? You know, I just want to ask a couple of questions, you know, before I make the decision to come on board. But yeah, man, ask them what the typical day that a driver goes through, and just, you know, just to see what they say. You know what I mean? Now, if they tell you I have no idea and no, we can't give you that information, that's a red flag. You might want to cancel Christmas on them, man. But hey, you know, so, you know, just take take those questions into consideration. Like I said, man, I hope each and every one of you have a great journey coming out here trucking. You know, congratulations once again, man, because like I said, that really is a huge accomplishment. You know, getting your CDLs and actually becoming a professional truck driver, man. So yeah, man, just be safe, take your time. It literally is one day at a time. You're gonna get better as the days go by, man. And hey, you know, like I said, to make sure the main thing is just to be safe out there. You want to go home the exact same way. You know, you want to leave and come back the exact same way, you know, you started in the morning. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys, that's all I got for today. Appreciate you guys for joining my channel, man. Just out here trucking. I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.